We bought a retired ambulance. Don't frown. We bought a retired ambulance. If you've been with us for a while, you would know that we were living in Australia for the past year, and the year before that we were living in Cambodia. Let me just recenter this.
It's been an idea of ours for like the last year to buy a van and convert it and live in it.
And our plan is to take it all through Canada and the States next year and eventually just live out of it as a tiny home. So we really wanted to get something good. We also knew that we couldn't do this in Vancouver.
So that's why we moved 5 hours east to the Okanagan so that we could continue and start a new adventure.
So we obviously had a budget and we don't have a lot of money. So at first we were looking at high top conversions.
We went to see one and it was a total bust. There was no coolant in it, it was completely dry, and the chassis and struts and everything were like super rusty. So the interior was pretty good, like inside of it was all like nice and good looking, but the engine and like chassis were completely torched.
And then we were lucky enough to see, or we thought lucky enough to see a Sprinter van on Craigslist that was in our price range. The kilometers were high on it, but it looked pretty good otherwise, so we made the guy an offer.
It was pretty much perfect, but I guess somebody had just come and seen it before us, said that they were interested, and he's now waiting because it's kind of first come, first serve. So we have to give him a call around 8 o'clock tonight, and he'll let us know if they bailed, then it's ours. That's okay. Somebody came early and we had to honor that.
But we were fine before with just getting a high top. So we just have to get back into like another mindset. We were kind of running out of time because we had to get back to work. We couldn't just stay in Vancouver and hang out with friends forever. So we just kept looking on Craigslist and then we found an ambulance. Okay, so that didn't take very long. We're back on Craigslist. Now we're looking at an old ambulance. So we're just gonna give this person a call and see what's up. That is the ambulance we're about to look at, I think. Here we are, we're looking for our, the closest bank because we are gonna go get a money draft. We're ambulance people now.
So this guy is an auto salesman. He was dealing in cargo vans before and he had the idea to get into ambulances. So he goes to auctions and purchases these vehicles and then resells them.
So it kind of like flipped everything because I really had envisioned the interior of a Sprinter van or even a high top conversion for all of this time. And then when we saw the ambulance, you were so much more sold on it than I was.
I honestly think that it's gonna be something that we're gonna be both really happy with. I think it's gonna be really good.
Okay. But also, I don't really know anything about cars, and Nick does.
A little bit.
So, when we were there, I was basically just like, okay, look, the ball's in your court. If you think it's a good idea, then let's just do it.
When I first saw the ambulance, I liked that it was in good shape. The kilometers were pretty high on it, as with most emergency vehicles. After about 7 or 8 years, they run their course. So that was a little bit of a downside, but I did see the potential in the interior. It came with lights. It's already mostly insulated, not fully, I'll still have to do a little bit of insulating, but the electrical's all done. So it seemed like definitely a good purchase. For the price that we were getting, it was a little bit over our budget, but any other van that we were looking into was either way too small because we needed something tall enough to stand in, or it was way too overpriced for us.
In that day, we had decided that we were gonna get an ambulance. It's not like we were looking for an ambulance before. It just kind of came across organically and we decided to get it. So that day, we just went with the guy and did the paperwork and put it under our names, I guess. And your name, my name, I don't even remember. So the next morning when we went to go turn it on to move, it wasn't starting. I just asked Nick to pull it out a little bit and it won't turn on. Nick is downstairs right now trying to sort it out, and I am upstairs packing, so I'm gonna go check up on him in a couple minutes once I'm done here. Nick is in the ambulance with my mom. I guess she came home from work, and she's on the phone with her ambulance driver friend.
Just show me how it works, and it doesn't start.
There's like multiple batteries in it.
Okay.
At first I thought it was the battery, but then learned shortly after that it was the starter. We had to get underneath it and bang the starter with a wrench and turn it over, and thankfully it started up for us. So we drove it back to the guy that we got it from, and he's a really, really nice guy, and put a new starter in it for us, free of charge.
We had bought insurance only for the day to get up to the Okanagan because our plan is just to park it. We're not planning on really driving it for the next few months while we convert it. So we wanted to make sure that we were gonna get here before our insurance ran out.
Luckily it worked out, and we were on the road by like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so
We're on the road. We are moving to the Okanagan.
we made it up just before our insurance ran out.
So now we're up in the Okanagan. We both had to get jobs and basically save money because we're planning on going on a massive road trip. And we also want to make it really nice on the interior. So we're gutting it. You're gutting it. And weirdly enough, we're living in a super small town right now that like I haven't even heard of before in my entire life. And coincidentally, another team rider from Landvia and one of our friends named Troy also lives in the same town in the Okanagan.
Less than a kilometer away from us, 650 meters to be exact.
So luckily, Troy really likes working on stuff, and you, I guess, have a friend to work on it with during the gutting process because I'm absolutely useless in that department. So then you guys started taking it apart, basically the first weekend that we got here. I posted this ambulance to Facebook and to a group the other day and yesterday, and people had a million questions. So we're just gonna go through the interior of the ambulance and show you kind of what it looks like on the inside as of right now. I took this video after Troy and Nick had worked on it for that day, so yeah, here it is.
So you have the 2 doors at the back that would open up for a patient in a stretcher to get into. You have the door on the passenger side, not the passenger side door, the door for the back, and that is where a paramedic would go in to sit. Usually there's a captain's chair right in the middle, but we had already taken that out. Along the sides of the interior are a lot of places for storage.
So my question when we were getting the ambulance is that stuff removable?
Yes, it's all removable. We just have to unbolt everything and unscrew everything.
Does it give a lot more space when you're taking it out?
I haven't measured it yet, but I would think probably about 6.5 feet wide and maybe 5 foot 8 inches high. And unfortunately, everything's been silicone, so inside of all the bolts and all of the screws are, it's been silicone, so you have to dig all of that out before you can get the screwdriver or Allen key or whatever tool you need in there, and then you've got to try and ratchet it out from there.
So when we were first looking at the interior too, because there's all this great storage, we were wondering if we wanted to keep any of it. Not sure if we're gonna use it, but right now we're keeping everything that we take out.
On the driver's side, there is another door, but it doesn't go to anywhere. It's just all of the electrical. So that controls the sirens that were once there. They've been removed because it's illegal, along with all of the red reflective tape and things like that. But the electrical controls would control the sirens. It runs the 2 auxiliary batteries that are underneath all of the electrical. So it's kind of set up like an RV in that way. So it'll be good because we'll be able to draw power from those into the ambulance, into where we're going to be staying, instead of having to run off of the engine battery or buy things like solar panels or anything like that. We have auxiliary batteries. The flooring is just some like vinyl crap that's in there right now, and then plywood underneath. So I'll have to probably insulate the floor and then lay some new flooring down and then build up from there.
We're gonna rebuild the entire interior and make it into what we want to be, a tiny home. We're not only planning on taking it on this trip, but we're also planning on living in it after for the summers, and perhaps going back to Cambodia for the winters. We got a few questions on Facebook when I posted this, and I'm just gonna address some of them right now. Are we gonna knock out the wall between the driver's seat and the back?
No, so that's part of what makes it structurally sound. But there is a window there, and I will be cutting out a little door so that we can go from the cab to the back.
How many people died in your ambulance?
People don't die in ambulances.
This is what we learned. People don't die in ambulances because they are pronounced dead in the hospital. Thank you to Kathy and Dominic from the Facebook group that taught me that yesterday. That is my new response to every single person that asks. We smudged it, my mom made me. Actually, my mom smudged it herself, and we're good to go. When you buy any used vehicle, you never know what happened in it. Your mom drove someone in her car that was having a heart attack and nearly died. So people have died in cars too. And people have sex in cars. And people's water breaks in cars.
Yeah, but only if they're married they have sex in cars.
Don't have sex before marriage. People vomit in cars. People do drugs in cars. So I am not really concerned that we have an ambulance because I don't think about what happened in there, because I don't think about what happened in any house or car that I buy.
I don't care if someone died in there.
We were looking at jobs because we need to make money and work and save. We don't have all the money in the world. I don't know how some people do. Nick found a job.
I drive 5-ton trucks around, drive all over the Okanagan to liquor stores, dropping off flats of beer, or to restaurants dropping off kegs.
And I have decided to continue teaching ESL, and I'm working from home right now. So the intention is to work from home so I can actually focus on this YouTube channel and our blog. So that said, I have more time to do that, so we're gonna be doing a lot of updates on our new ambulance adventure. I'm gonna film all the gutting it and the whole recreation, and so if you are interested in that, please keep posted. And still answering questions about Cambodia and moving to Cambodia, because Cambodia is not out of the picture. Cambodia is very much in the picture, and one of the reasons why we want to have a tiny home for the summers.
And as usual, do you have any more questions or anything? If you want to know what my favorite color is, or if you want to know what Raychel likes to eat for dinner, or if you want to know about something boring like the ambulance, then you can always hit us up at NotLux on Instagram.
We respond to every single question that comes at us on Instagram especially, so just DM us. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, and bye.